Mosley-Milford and Dr. Erica Reaves with us today. So without further ado, I will have them join in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Good morning, everyone. As Paula mentioned, I am Nayshon Mosley-Milford, the Dean of Student Success at Chicago State University, and I have with me today
Dr. Erica Reaves, Director of Retention and Student Success at Chicago State University.
Awesome. So I know we have a little bit of time this morning, but what we wanted to do was just take some time and discuss with you all what we're doing here at Chicago State University to address student success through our framework called Cougar Commitment. But before we do that, we have a question. I know you all have our bios, and so we will not move forward with just discussing bios and who we are, but those pictures so you can see us. But we have a live poll. So if you, or not a live poll, but a Q&A. So Dr. Reaves is going to pose a question. If you can just drop your responses in the chat.
Yeah. So what resources are needed at your campus? Financial, counseling, childcare, food pantry, or food insecurity or wellness? Just type in the chat what you see going on at your campus. All of the above.
All of the above.
I get that. Yeah, a lot of all of the above. Yeah.
Counseling, childcare.
Financial and childcare. Absolutely.
Yep. We concur.
Great. And so what we hope is our presentation will help you guys kind of navigate some of those issues that you're having at your campus, and you can see how we are addressing those issues here at Chicago State.
Awesome. And if it's comforting, what you'll find is that you're not alone, as you can see from the chat.
Yeah,
the same issues you all are seeing, we're seeing as well on our campus, which is why it's important that we have this conversation today. My computer's moving a tad bit slow. Okay, so just a little bit background about who Chicago State is. For those that are not aware, we're located here on the south side of Chicago on 95th and King Drive. We are a 4-year public institution. We were founded in 1867. 4 colleges, arts and sciences, business, education, health sciences, and pharmacy, several undergraduate and graduate degrees. It's clear, it should be clear to point out that we are the only 4-year predominantly Black institution, which means that we're federally designated by the U.S. Department of Education as what's called a PBI, or predominantly Black institution. We like to joke and call ourselves the little cousins to the HBCUs, but we're the only one here in the state of Illinois. There are some 2-year colleges that are predominantly Black, but we're the only 4-year. Over 70% of our faculty identify as Black, Hispanic or Latinx, Asian American, or Pacific Islander, and we are in the top 2% in the nation for graduating Black students with a bachelor's degree in physics. It's also important to note that when students walk away from Chicago State University with a degree, they're in the top 4% nationwide among all colleges and universities graduates for economic mobility. That means that when they graduate from Chicago State University with a degree, based upon our demographic and where our students come from, they actually are shifting their family's economic mobility status. I talked a little bit about us being a predominantly Black institution. What's important is that they must have, in order to be designated as a predominantly Black institution, you must have a minimum of 1,000 students, and 40% of those students must be African American, and over 50% of them must be low income or first generation college students. There are 6 PBIs in Illinois, enrolling about 25% of Black students in the entire state of Illinois. Along with the University of Baltimore, Chicago State University is one of the founders of the National Coalition of PBIs, which has been really important because that kind of puts CSU on the map nationwide to talk about issues of equity, Black equity for Black and Latinx students, as well as talk about issues that predominantly Black institutions face. We are, I talked about being little cousins to HBCUs, but we get a little bit fewer resources than even the HBCUs who are already under-resourced. We are a member of the Congressional Black Caucus for PBIs. And we have, because of this coalition, we've seen an increase about 25% in federal funds going directly towards predominantly Black institutions. We're also a member of Thurgood Marshall College Fund and United Negro College Fund. So here's a little bit about our profile. I know we all could say we have a unique student profile because it's unique to our campuses, right? I think you all could agree there. But at Chicago State University, when we think about the other Illinois public universities here, there's 12, obviously, but out of our student demographic, almost 60% of our students are Pell eligible. The number of freshmen from tier 1 high schools, those are students that are considered furthest from being adequate or college ready. Almost a little over 81% of our students are furthest from being considered adequate or prepared for college compared to other schools in the state. They're just a little bit over 50%. We have almost 21% of our students that actually are part-time, which means it takes them longer to complete their 4-year degree compared to almost 11% for the entire state. 22% of our students are parents, which means they're navigating and juggling, trying to drop off daycare, pick up kids, work a job to supply for their household, as well as complete their degree either full-time or part-time. And 30% of the average age of our undergraduate students is 30 or just under 30, so the age of 29. That's important because the other thing that we recently found out here at Chicago State University is that we are serving 3 different generations of students, which means that we are seeing an increase in our average freshmen. As you can see, our average age of freshmen is 19.6, but we're seeing an increase in that number due to our Rise Academy first year experience program. But the other thing we're seeing is that not only are we serving that traditional 18 to 22 or 24-year-old, we have 25 to 40-year-olds, but then we also have a group that's 40 and above that are distinctly, we have to kind of figure out how do you serve 3 different groups and cater to these 3 groups of students. And almost 76% of our students are Black students, which definitely fits the PBI profile. So the reason you're all here today is to learn a little bit about our Cougar commitment. So our Cougar commitment sits kind of like in 4 pillars. So there's these 4 phases that we'd like to ideally take students through Chicago State University. Pre-college, which is the first phase, is where we're enrolling students through our dual enrollment and now dual credit program. We have several summer camps. We have federal TRIO programs, Upward Bound. And so we have a lot of pre-college programming where we're trying to expose students earlier on to college so that they begin to see themselves on a college campus. That's really important, right? We can't expect our students to go to school if they have never seen themselves there or even have an idea of the expectation of what does a college course entail or the rigor of going to school at a college level. So pre-college programming, we start right now. We'll talk a little bit briefly about our dual enrollment and dual credit programs and how we've been expanding our footprint there throughout the city of Chicago. The next phase is once we kind of get them introduced at the pre-college level, then we provide access and enrollment opportunities for them. One of the ways we've done that is we wanted to kind of eliminate some of the barriers that our students face when they're trying to enroll in college. And so we've eliminated developmental education courses. We've eliminated those programs that will or those courses that will have our students coming in at a remediated level and kind of provided some additional resources for them earlier on. One of the ways we've been able to do that is through our Rise Academy first year experience program. It is a 4-year scholarship program that we'll talk a little bit about. But the beauty in Rise Academy is it's open to all first-year students who meet our general admissions requirements. And those students, you don't have to have a specific GPA to be in Rise Academy. You don't have to have the 3.0 or the 3.5. It's open to all of our first-year students. One of the reasons is, many of us dropped in the chat that financial was an issue for our students. Well, we wanted to eliminate the financial barriers or the worries that our first-year students come in with regarding paying for college. Students receive tuition, laptop, textbooks, full support throughout their entire freshman year. The only thing Rise does not cover is room and board. Then we also have housing scholars. So we provide students with housing scholarships so that they can make going to school easy by living on campus in our residence hall. We have a transfer pathways program where we're supporting students because a lot of our students do transfer in from the local city colleges or community colleges. And so we wanted to create an easier pathway for those students to be able to come into Chicago State University with a seamless process and to receive a different level of support than maybe those first-year students might receive as they come in. We have several certificate programs and other scholarship programs to support our students as they are coming in through access and enrolling Chicago State University services. The next level is persistence and retention. So we got you in as a first-year student, right?
Right.
But now we also have to make sure that you stay here. We have to keep you here. And so one of the things that we've learned after a couple of years of running Rise Academy is that our students we've kind of provided all this support your first year, but then we don't want to hand you over and just say, hey, go and be great. So we've created what's called Sophomore Academy, which is another level of support for students their second year. It's not the same financial support. So students do receive a sophomore scholarship if they were in Rise Academy, but Sophomore Academy provides an academic success coach. They are working with students to make sure that they're kind of now beginning to think about career paths and introduction to career. Our Career Development Center providing some other supports and resources, helping students get engaged in some clubs and organizations on campus. So it's almost like a transition program. And so we provide our Sophomore Academy students with other resources and incentives for maintaining and being enrolled in school. So that's a level of support that we try to provide at that second year so that students are not just dropping off. We know that many of our students may go to school, but it's hard sometimes to help them persist from year to year, or even retain them from semester to semester. Credit hour completion, we provide intensive advising. There's many health and wellness resources on our campus. We provide assigned tutors. So if we see that there's a course that many of our students are not thriving in, we will work with our Learning Assistance Center to actually provide an assigned tutor for those courses for those students. And then we also have LAs, Learning Assistants, which are students that have taken the course. They go through a pedagogy course to learn how to become essentially like a TA in the course, and they work alongside the faculty to support the student learning. And then there's other mentoring options on campus. And then lastly, we have graduation to careers. Now that we've kind of supported you your first couple years, we work with students on career readiness, internships. All of our students have options to participate in paid internships. We try to not steer our students toward non-paid internships, simply because we know that our students need the financial support. And so many of the companies that we work with in industry partnerships that work with our students actually provide paid internships with options for career placement towards the end of that experience. So we'll talk a little bit about academic supports. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Reaves to share a little bit about some of those supports that we just named. And if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll try to address them as time permits.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the biggest ones that we're seeing here is the growth in our dual enrollment program. It's serving over 230 high schools, junior and seniors here. There has been about an 89% increase in enrollment across 12 of our high schools in the surrounding areas and in the suburbs. So students are really getting excited about coming over to Chicago State to take classes. We have partnered with AT&T during fall 2023. They gave us about 42% of our students received laptops and iPads to bridge the digital divide that was going on. So students are demonstrating that they need the technology, and we were able to support them in that. And then we see the growth of students coming in with the dual enrollment, and they're actually passing and progressing really well. And then we're able to retain them in the dual credit side as well. Rise Academy, I know Dr. Mosley spoke a little bit about that. Did you want to go further in that and talk about some of our completion rates?
Sure, absolutely. So I can share a little bit about our Rise Academy completion rate. So this is actually the fourth year. We're concluding our fourth year for Rise Academy. Rise Academy started during 2020. We're actually seeing our first graduating class this May that have completed Rise Academy. So we're really proud of that because these students are, as we all know, typical graduation rates are 4 to potentially 6 years. Well, these students have completed, thanks to Rise Academy and the other supports that they received, they completed their academic degree within 4 years. We had 2 students that actually graduated a semester early. They graduated in December, and then we have one of those students is actually already enrolled in a master's program. We also have about 8 students that are graduating this spring, and another group that'll be graduating in the fall. So RISE students, one of the things that we learned about RISE students is that their completion rate is about 20% higher than other first-year students that don't participate in RISE Academy. I mentioned that RISE is optional. It's open to all first-year students, but for whatever reasons, students are not, they may opt out to. There is a 5-week summer course that the students have to complete, a 5-week, kind of almost like a summer bridge course that the students have to complete before their fall semester. So if students have to work full-time or they have other commitments, then they may not participate, or they may opt to not participate in RISE Academy. We also saw, I think there was a question in the chat regarding second year enrollment or students that are stopping out after the sophomore year. So RISE students are also about 15% higher in, being able to enroll in their second year. So many of our students that go through RISE Academy, because of the level of support and engagement that they have received throughout the entire first year, those students are more likely to enroll in their second year. Regarding the question of whether or not students are dropping off after the sophomore year, we saw that. We saw a lot of students actually that came in the first year that just were not prepared. As we know, we're dealing with a different dynamic of students. COVID-19 has changed a lot for all of us. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with the term Gen P, but they've named Gen P those students who had their academic journey impacted by the pandemic. And so we're continuing to see the impacts of those students that went to school online. Maybe they were in 7th or 8th grade and they're now enrolling in college. And so we're seeing that, which is one of the reasons we were prompted to go ahead and try to put some additional supports for our second year students.
Absolutely. And most notably, our RISE students are about 2/3 of those are first gen. So it's really good that we're able to hold on to those students as well. We also offer tutoring and advising. So our tutoring center, our learning access center, basically helps students with tutoring and open resources here on campus for currently enrolled students, active alumni and faculty of CSU. So students are able to walk in and get tutoring in 20 different content areas. We also have embedded tutors in the classrooms throughout all 4 of our colleges. Our academic advising team and support team serves all of our students from freshmen to senior year. We also have faculty advisors that help students through their journey as well. We're promoting the coaching model here at Chicago State with our academic advising students. So they're really working with students hand in hand with a holistic academic advising team. Next slide. Is it stuck? Okay.
Can you see it? Should be Child Care Center. Personal
Okay, there it is. So we also have the Child Care Center here on campus, the Dr. David Cannis Child Development Center, which offers a federally funded program called C Campus, which is Child Care Access Means Parent in Schools. That federally funded initiative is assisted for completing subsidized payments for students. So the cost of childcare is lowered for them, and all they need to do is apply and be a full-time student. Our child care center right now is open to 3 to 5-year-olds, kindergarten students to 12-year-olds as well. And our infant to 3-year-olds is starting soon. So students are able to get that preschool, after school care as well for our students, so they can be able to go to school and not worry about childcare, which is a big thing on our campus as well. We offer transportation for our students. Obviously, we have the shuttle buses that come around the campus, but we also have it going to our CTA Red Line. It goes to Walmart, which is kind of a little bit further off campus for students, and around the actual campus. So students are actually using the shuttle bus to go get groceries, come back on campus, live on campus. So it's a good thing for students to have, as well as the CTA Venture cards, which I'm sure a lot of colleges have. We offer that for our full-time students. They could use that for unlimited rides. It costs about $170 per semester, but that's a reduced cost for our full-time and part-time students. We offer the loaner laptop program as well. Technology has been a big thing, as we saw after the pandemic. There's a divide in technology, so we are offering the free loaner laptop programs for our students, free Wi-Fi for our students as well as for staff. And so students will be able to come in, get a laptop, and be able to work on their program and their classes. Next slide. Cougar Closet, that's our free, lightly used professional clothing center where students can come in and get appropriate clothes for business, job fairs, job interviews, internships, different things like that. We also do different workshops with students during the Cougar Closet on how to tie ties and different things like that, just to get students prepared for the outside world once they graduate. We offer a food pantry here on campus. We partner with the Greater Food Depository, which provides a wide range of healthy foods for students. We see about, well, it's been an uptick, but we see about 30 to 40 students per week that utilize the food pantry. So we support students. We ask students to come in that have been impacted with food insecurities, and we help them be able to sustain community resources and support for our parenting students as well for the food pantry. Next slide. Great. We also have different financial supports. We offer the basic needs housing insecurity grant. Dr. Mosley, did you want to speak to this as well?
Sure, I can talk about that a little bit. So we received a grant through the state of Illinois, Illinois Board of Higher Education, which is the End Student Housing Insecurity Grant. And that allows us, it's actually run through our counseling center, but it allows us to work with our students that have identified additional needs outside of those academic supports. As we're all seeing now, and I always like to say that I feel like we're becoming more case management heavy in higher education just because of the number of personal needs and financial needs that our students are meeting outside of the classroom or outside of their academic needs. And so this particular grant will allow students to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm struggling. I need money to pay a bill, a light bill, or gas bill, or provide rent support. We have students that are couch surfing, they're living, they don't have a direct address, they're staying with one family member or a friend here and there. We have students that are just, they may work, but they may be underemployed. So they may not make enough money or may not be able to work enough hours while they're going to school to be able to also provide those other needs. And so we have funds available. Students are they just have to complete an application, and we're able to provide them those funds to support. And there's no tie to their financial account here on campus. This money is refunded directly to the student's personal bank account, or they may have, I think, a card that they receive through the university for refunds. It can be refunded directly there to students. A lot of housing insecurity funds are available as well. And we talked a little bit about Rise Academy, but one of the benefits that we also saw this year during Rise is we received additional funds for the state for students that are currently in the Rise cohort this year, and we're able to provide them additional supports as well. So prime example, I had a first year student that was on the verge of dropping a class because she couldn't get here on Fridays and she had trouble with her car. And we were just talking, and she wasn't going to say anything. She was going to drop the class. And I just checked in with her one day. The next day she emailed me or came by my office and said she didn't want to say anything. at the time, but she was thinking about dropping the class because she was having car issues. I asked her how much it would cost. And because we had written this grant and received these funds, I was able to provide her with funds to be able to get her car fixed so that she didn't have to drop out of school. So it's those things like that that we think about, when it's time to provide support to our students, those things. If it was you, what kind of support will help you stay enrolled in school?
Absolutely. We also have micro grants, which are mainly like retention grants for students. So we have something called Finish Strong, which is a $500 per semester grant that covers like small financial shortfalls for students. So they can come to us and go through different things. Maybe we see that they need a book voucher, different things like that, or some other things that's going on in their personal life. We can use those funds for our students to assist them to stay in school. We offer Cougar Returns, which is a debt forgiveness initiative. This is basically to bring students back, former students, bring them back to the campus. Students who owe $1,500 or less within the past 3 years, we can use those funds to bring them back to campus. We also have housing scholars. I see our time is getting, we're losing time, so I'm just going to go through this one. We have housing scholars, Call Me Mister, which are programs, recruiting programs for teachers, for African American, Latinx teachers, Diverse Scholars, which is an education program for any student that wants to become a teacher from pre-K to 12, 12th grade. So some of those scholarships are for specifics of programs, but we have different programs to assist students to pay for school. So we've talked a little bit about dual enrollment and RISE scholarship and how those things are helping student success here on campus. 100% of our students requesting basic need assistance received it. So the great thing about Chicago State right now, we're able to feel the need of the student. It's just them talking to us and telling us what they need. So 100% of our students are getting the help that they need. We are targeting and piloting a new program called Navigate 360, which is our new student success management system. This is providing a holistic approach to connecting students with resources. It's also helping communication with students. We're tracking students and using that data collection and analytics to assist students for retention purposes here on campus. So strengthening the supports that we need with our students to retain them. Next slide. These are some of the student testimonials that we've had. We could have put a lot more on there, but we didn't want to burden you down with all of these. But these are two of our RISE students just saying how they were assisted here with some of the support systems that we have and how they're able to graduate and maintain. So I saw a couple of questions come in on the chat. Oh, Dr. Mosley, you're answering those questions.
I'm
Great.
trying to keep up, but there were a few that I didn't get to. I know we have a minute left, but what I do want to do is shift. So this is our contact information. If you did drop any questions in the chat and we were not able to get to them, please feel free to email us, reach out directly to us. And we're happy to answer any questions. And someone asked if the PowerPoint will be made available. Paula, will you all send the PowerPoint out, or we're happy, to send it out as well?
Yes, we plan to send the PowerPoint and post everything as well. And folks will get it in a follow-up email too that have joined us today. So I know we are exactly at time, and thank you for answering questions as we went along, Dr. Mosley. I want to take a moment to say thank you to Dr. Mosley and to Dr. Reaves for, first of all, everything you've done for your students at Chicago State and for taking the time to join us today and share your good works with our colleagues across Illinois and those from across the country that have joined us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you all for having us,
Thank
and thank
you.
you for
Take care.
attending.